if you're coming up on a birthday that you're a little bit apprehensive about or depressed about even, generally the big ones like 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and so on. Those milestone ones, for whatever reason, end in 5 or 0. They seem to really impact us more than just all the ones in between. And they feel momentous sometimes. I just had a birthday just a little bit back here, and I'm at 62 now, which seems so strange. It doesn't seem possible. I don't feel like 62. I haven't wrestled with it so much, but I have a lot of friends who have, especially with 60 or 65. But whatever it is, there are certain birthdays that kind of come up that kind of hit us a little bit harder than other ones. Like, oh no, I'm, halfway through my life, or I'm no longer in my 20s, or I'm, in my golden years, or just whatever it is. And that can kind of strike fear in us sometimes, or just depression, a little trepidation, whatever it is. But sometimes birthdays can be tough. And I used to say, oh, birthdays, they're just numbers, right? And to a degree, they kind of are. And then as I got older and started meeting a lot more people in the Aches and Pains Club, then I amended that to, okay, birthdays are just numbers until your body tells you otherwise. And while that's so to a certain degree, it's still, as we mark those years, they can really cause us some trouble sometimes mentally, just trying to deal with what that means, if it means something. And sometimes it can be kind of depressing, distressing, or just overwhelming. And I've met a lot of folks here recently. It seems like that's been the case, where the years are hitting them really hard when they start looking at a birthday. Anyway, to get to the point, I came across this thing the other day that just really, besides just being really fun, kind of is a game changer. And I'll tell you the game changer part first, I guess, because what it does is it swaps out what could be a negative thing, a negative story, because a lot of times we attach stories to things, almost everything really, and change that story from not so much a negative thing to more of a positive thing. So it makes that shift in there, which helps us to look at it with new eyes from a new perspective. Excuse me. And that story, everybody's story is a little bit different, but it's kind of the same thing. We're all kind of worried about what's the future going to be? What does this mean? Who am I? What have I done? What have I not done? All that kind of stuff. You can fill in the blanks for you as far as whatever your story is, your worries are, your fears, the things that you're depressed about or distressed about. But here's the thing I came across that is so fun on this. Take your year, for me, 62, all right? Take that one decimal and move it over one spot. So instead of 62, now it's 6.2. And instead of looking at it as years, look at it as a version number, kind of like in an app or your software or your phone or whatever, but look at it as a version number instead of a year. So now that I'm version 6.2, there's new upgrades and enhancements, new features to version 6.2. A lot of the glitches from 6.1 have been worked out and is better than 6.0, 5.9, 5.8, 3.5, 2.9, all of that stuff. So if you look at it that way, it kind of changes the whole landscape of things and makes it less about, oh no, the worry, the trepidation, the what does it hold, the fear, the unknown, all those kind of things. It makes it more about wonder and possibility. Like, I wonder what this upgrade will be like. I wonder what the cool new features are. I wonder what this is going to be like, this stretch of version 6.2 until 6.3 comes out. And you can even look forward to it. And I know it sounds really silly, and it sounds maybe childish. It sounds, call it whatever you want to. You can poo-poo it all day long. And if you want to do that, then that has its own consequences in life. But if you're open to possibility and open to the idea of just changing the narrative and changing the way we look at things, that perspective, and making it something a little more different, a little more positive, a little more of possibility, a little more of the prospect of positive things happening that can happen, rather than the, oh no, about things we have no idea. We don't know what our next year is going to be like. And it could just as easily be a really cool one with a lot of cool new features and upgrades as it could be a depressing, horrible one. So choose your poison, right? So my recommendation is, you've tried it the other way already, it being another year, oh no, it's one more on the counter, it's, you know, all these negative things piled up. Try it this way and see what you think. Give it a year, see what you got. Pass it around, because it's kind of laughable and fun, and the people I've told it to have just been, it's just like it made their eyes light up and like, yeah, I like that. And it may be, you know, just something fun for a little while, but whatever it is, just give it a try, see what you think. But I thought it was a really clever and fun way to look at something that can typically be more depressing and distressing as something that's a whole different game. And that's kind of fun. So that's kind of the whole thing of life, isn't it? It's just like, if our perspective changes, then everything changes. The stories that we attach to things, they make a big difference in what our reality is. So give it a whirl. What birthday is this coming up for you? What did you just have? And what do you think about this idea? And if you like it, share it with other people. Share your thoughts and comments with me. And thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. And check out this video here. I think you might like it too.